Okay, good morning, everyone. Just gonna wait until everybody finishes their messages, and actually I have to save this because I changed something. Okay, so I'm going to re-upload this review here because as I was working with the previous group, I realized I made 2 mistakes. So I'm just gonna re-upload this and replace. Okay, so this should be good now. So the review we're going to be discussing, this PowerPoint here, is already available on Canvas, and you're not seeing my screen, but okay. Okay, good morning, Sonheidi. All right, so let's take a look over here. Yes, I know I'm presenting. So you can just click here on review test number 1, and that is where you can find this presentation that I have here. So let's dive right in. Complete this test. Obviously, in its entirety, I want you to do well, and I don't want you to have any doubts as to what you have to do. So I took the liberty of making this presentation, this little review, so we can go over exactly what you need to do. Okay, why are you not going? Okay. So in this part, I forgot to erase this, multiple choice. Anyways, so identify each sentence as simple or progressive. Then you identify which tense is used, past, present, or future. Okay? The first thing you're going to see here when you read this sentence, you're going to see that it has 2 blanks. Okay? That means that you have to answer 2 different things. What are they? Well, you're going to tell me whether or not it's simple or progressive. And then in the other blank, you're going to tell me whether it's past, present, or future. Okay? The reason why there's 2 blanks in the sample item is because there's 2 things I need you to put there. So, sentence number 1 here says, many young people cried because they were feeling stressed out. How do I identify the sentence? We're going to have to look for the verb. Okay? Remember, the verb is the action. Basically, what changes, what tells you what tense this is. So, many young people cried because they were feeling stressed out. So we have a couple of verbs here. We have one verb here, cried. We have the be verb were. We have main verb feeling, which ends with ing. And then we have the phrasal verb here, stressed out. Pero I gave you a hint as to what you're supposed to be looking for. I said many people cried because they were feeling stressed out. I said this is the main verb, and it ends with ing. So does that make this simple or progressive? If anybody knows the answer, you can turn on your microphone for a second and tell me. Don't write in the chat because I can't see the chat.
Present simple.
Okay. Remember that if it ends with ing, then that would not be simple. It would be
past progress.
Okay, so it is progressive because we have the be verb were, and then we have the main verb that ends with ing. Okay, so in this case, I don't know if you guys can see what Ay, caramba. What I'm holding in my hands here, esta es una pizarrita que yo hice. I'll tell you about that later.
No, no se ve. Ahora sí. Ahora sí.
Okay. So we have were, which is the be verb in the past tense, and then we have the verb that ends with ing. When it has this structure, it's automatically progressive. Okay. And now, how do we identify this as either past, present, or future? Well, first, we look at the be verb here, which is were, which we already know is in past tense. But apart from that, how else can we identify this as potentially past? We look at the other verbs here. We have the main verb cried. Now we look at the screen, and it ends with ed. And then we have this other verb stressed, which also ends with ed. These are indications that this is in the past tense. So I don't know who spoke earlier. They said this was past progressive. That is correct. So in blank number 1, you could say this is progressive. You could just either mark the letter A or write prog, or whatever space allows you to write. And then in this second blank would be past. So progressive past, past progressive, etc. Let's put that into action. Complete these practice exercises for a little bit more brain power so you can look more like this dude over here. So take a couple of minutes and tell me, is this simple or progressive? Then tell me, is this past, present, or future? I'm going to give you a moment, a couple of minutes, so you guys can complete that. And I'll check in with you. It's 8:38 at, let's say 8:42. Give you 4 minutes. Para no coger mucho tiempo, because I want to do something else later. I'll be right back, actually. So I'm just going to check in because my time is limited. So are we ready, or do we still need another minute? Does anybody know the answer to number 1? At this time tomorrow, I will be leaving.
Future.
Okay, so we answered the second question. We know that this is future, but how do we know whether or not this is simple or progressive?
A progressive.
Okay, okay, that is correct. So this is future progressive. Why? We have a couple of indicators here. We have, first of all, will be. When we have will be, we automatically know that this will be in the future. Sorry. We have another indicator of time, which is tomorrow, which indicates that something that's in the future. So at least we know that this is future, and how we know this is progressive is because, of course, we have a main verb that ends with ing. Okay. Let's continue to number 2. The baby learned to walk.
Simple past.
Simple past, exactly right. We know it's simple because it doesn't end with ing, and we know it's past because the main verb ends with ed. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Number 3, the fluffy dog is happy.
Simple present.
Simple present. The only verb we have here is the be verb is, which automatically, it's only used in present and future, but there's nothing here to indicate future. So yes, it is simple present. Number 4, I was recording an ASMR video.
Past progressive.
Past progressive, okay? We have the be verb was, and then we have record, which is the main verb with ing. So I was recording is past progressive. Good. And number 5, my dad will be voting in the upcoming elections.
Future progressive.
Future progressive. Of course, we have will be, and then we have the main verb vote, which ends with ing. And of course, we do have another hint that this is future because it says upcoming elections. Okay. Even though this ends with ing, this is not a verb. This is actually an adjective. But basically, upcoming elections lo que significa es que las siguientes elecciones. So it's something that's not happened yet. So to recap, from 1 through 5, 1 is future progressive, 2 is simple past, 3 is simple present, 4 is past progressive, and 5 is future progressive. All right, so we just increased our brain power. Let's continue to the next part. And it wasn't until I completed the test and I completed this review that I realized this part is basically the same as the thing we just did. So en vez de cambiarlo y complicarle la vida, I just left it as is. So if you learned how to do the first part well, then you can do the second part equally well. By the way, we're not seeing these parts in the same order as they will appear in the test. I actually changed it up willingly because I wanted to start the review from the easiest to what I think may be the hardest. Anyways, so basically we're doing the same thing, except we're not asking for 2 blanks. We're just filling it in 1 blank. Yeah, anyways, so same thing.
The text will be in tomorrow and Friday at Canvas.
Exacto. See, I'm going to discuss that when we finish the review, okay?
Okay, thanks.
It's okay. So anyways, we're going to be looking for the same thing. Is it simple past? Is it simple present? Is it simple future? Is it progressive past? Is it progressive present? Or is it progressive future? Let's take a look at the sentence. Melissa and Eric just got engaged. Okay, we have an indicator of time. And of course, that same indicator of time tells us whether it's simple or progressive. Let's take a look at the verb. What is the verb here?
Engaged.
Exactly right. So they got engaged. Engaged ends with ed, so that makes it past. And of course, since it doesn't have ing, that makes it
Simple.
fantastic. So really, to complete these 2 parts that we just discussed, all you need to do is look for the verbs. Are they in the past, in the present, or in the future? Does the main verb end with ing or ed? It's as simple as that. And now that we have that in mind, let's complete these practice exercises for a little bit more knowledge. So I identify the verb tense. It's either simple or progressive, and it's either past, present, or future, just like in the first part. So take a couple of minutes to complete these 5 sentences. Oh, come on. Okay. Does anybody know the answer to number 1?
Future progressive.
Exactly right. We have will be, which automatically implies future. And then we have main verb leave that ends with ing. That is progressive. So this would be future progressive. Okay, good. Number 2, Paola and Emmanuel are in love.
Simple present.
Exactly right. We just have this main verb, excuse me, the main verb, which is actually a be verb, are. And remember that are, am, is are the be verbs in the present tense. They can also be used in the future tense, but, oh, hold on. This is only based on whether or not this has other stuff to indicate this is future, but this is only present. Anyways, number 3, Elizabeth has curly hair.
Simple present.
Simple present as well. We have the main verb have, which is conjugated with its S form in the present tense. So has. Okay, good. Number 4, Raquel smiled when she saw the puppy.
Simple past.
Simple past.
Simple past, exactly right. We have 2 verbs here. We have smiled and we have saw. Smiled ends with ed, so this indicates past. Saw is an irregular verb, which is from the present form of see. It becomes a past form saw. And both of these are in the past tense, and neither of them have ing. So yes, this would be simple past. Finally, number 5, Javier is going to win the race.
Future
Future
progressive.
progressive.
Okay, and I can see why you might think it's progressive. But do you see any reason why it's not progressive and it's simple instead?
It's simple because it's going to, not going to be.
Okay, el B is a good thing that you mentioned there. Deja que pase ese camión. Okay. So yes, el be goes in the future progressive, good, but it also goes before the main verb that ends with, I don't know if you can see it, with ing. Okay. So if, where's the marker? If we were to say instead, un segundito en lo que lo escribo. I don't know if you can see it. If we were to say instead that Javier is going to be winning the race, then that would be progressive. Really, the main verb here is so the main verb here is win. Since win doesn't end with ing, then this cannot be progressive. Okay? We're going to discuss la última parte today. It delves much deeper into the future tense. So you should be able to identify that with more ease a little bit later. So, en otras palabras, this is future simple because going isn't the main verb. Okay? It's a little different than the past progressive, but we'll see that in just a second. So to recap, number 1 is future progressive, will be leaving. Number 2 is simple present, are. Number 3, simple present as well, has. Number 4 would be simple past, which is smiled and saw. And number 5, simple future, is going to win. Okay? Okay, so complete the sentences below with the phrasal verbs in the box. Each phrasal verb may be used only one time. Conjugate the phrasal verb according to the verb tense of each sentence. ¿Qué estamos haciendo? We're basically filling in the blanks. We're filling in the blanks with one of these phrasal verbs. Let's take a look at the sentence. I think the students will blank that these examples won't be a part of the test.
Figure out.
Figure out.
Okay. Yeah, so en serio, all these examples that we see in the review, not one of them appears on the test. So there you go. So basically, we have also 2 parts here. We fill in the blank with the correct phrasal verb, which we already figured out, was figure out. Most phrasal verbs are only going to fit well within one single sentence, even though there's X amount of sentences and there's the same amount of phrasal verbs. Most sentences are only going to make sense with one phrasal verb. Okay? I just want you to, when you fill in the blank with the phrasal verb, I want you to read it carefully, and I want you to make sure that you conjugate the verb if it is necessary. Remember that conjugating is basically putting it into the past or the future form if it is necessary. We're going to see in this example here once we level up. So there are 5 phrasal verbs here. Stand up, find out, read through, jump on, and fill in. And there's 5 sentences. No va a sobrar ninguno. And I don't think that the phrasal verbs fit in any other sentence other than the correct one. Maybe you could make an argument for 1 or 2, but I don't think so. So what I said here at the end, conjugate if necessary. That implies that you won't have to conjugate for every sentence. It's only a few of them. Que de hecho le voy a dar un la. In these 5 sentences, only one of them needs to be conjugated. The rest can be written exactly as they're written here, and they will be fine.
¿Y cómo yo sé eso?
Vamos a ver si lo pueden identificar, si no, pues le doy un la después. So let's take a couple of minutes, son las 56, a las 9:01. So just take 5 minutes to complete this, and I'll be here if you have any questions. Okay, so who can fill in the first blank? Please make sure you blank all the blanks on the test.
Filling.
Exactly right. Please make sure you fill in all the blanks on the test. Okay, very good. Number 2, I like Super Mario because all you do is blank the enemies.
Jump on.
Jump on.
Fantastic. Good. I like Super Mario because all you do is jump on the enemies. Number 3, and I really hope you guys understood this reference. Si no, me siento viejo. Will the real Slim Shady please?
Stand up.
And no.
Exactly right. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Number 4, I listen to audiobooks when I can't find the time to a novel.
Read through a novel.
Read through.
Exactly right. And this is true, actually. You can find audiobooks on YouTube, by the way. Some dumb couple burned down the forest in a gender reveal party. We just blank the baby's gender.
Found out.
Find out.
Okay, so I heard two answers that are technically correct. Well, one is and one is almost. So we have the... ¿Dónde está? Me hice la pizarra y se me olvidó hacer o comprar un borrador. So I'm gonna see if I can just do it here. I hope that's a D and not a B. Find out, and we actually have to write it as this, found out. And why do we change it from find to found?
Because it is in past.
Yes, I mean, it is in past, but it's also because this is an... Oh my God, ahora sí que se puso la cosa fea. Because it is an irregular verb. Basically, when a verb is irregular, it changes its structure. It basically changes how it's written according to which tense it's in. So in this case, you are kind of expected to remember the list of phrasal verbs, excuse me, the list of regular verbs. As I said, not all of the examples, not all of the items on the test are going to need to be conjugated. So there's only a few of them in the test, and it's actually less than half. Only less than half of the total of those exercises are actually going to need to be conjugated. And for example, if you do use, for example, in this one, we used find out instead of found out, you're not going to get, it's not like you're not going to receive a 0 for that part. You're just only going to receive half the points for that answer. So instead of it being, let's say, 2, it could be just 1. Okay? So don't fret if you weren't able to conjugate all of them correctly, because it may not affect you as much as you think. But of course, if you do conjugate it correctly, then you'll obviously get a better score. And this is the last example from the test. Let's take a look at this. It says complete the sentences in all simple future and all future progressive forms. Use the following table as a reference. The students study for the upcoming test. What we're going to do is we're going to take this be verb, this main verb that's in the parenthesis, and we're going to write the correct conjugation that would normally go in this blank. We're going to write them here. There's 5 ways to conjugate this verb in the future. So let's take a look over here. In this part, you will have the original sentence with the verb you need to conjugate. We already saw that here. Remember the conjugation rules for each tense, and you will easily fill in these blanks. Sorry. So let's take a look. The students blank study for the upcoming test. In the simple future, we have two forms. We have will and we have going to. Let's, who can tell me the answer for this one? The students and the will form of the simple future.
The student will be study for the upcoming test.
Okay,
O will solamente.
le quita el be y te quedas con will and the main verb. Okay, so you can say the students will study, and that's it for this first blank here. So sería will study. What about the second one here, going to?
The student is going to study for the upcoming test.
Okay, that is mostly correct. You did add a be verb where it's supposed to be, and you did add the main verb where it's supposed to be. Pero aquí, the students en plural, that means that the be verb is not going to be is, sino que vamos a usar ¿cuál be verb?
Are.
Exactly. So the students are going to study. So this is, the simple is, as I said, pretty simple. Will and the verb, will study, and then going to and the verb. So it's going to study, and of course, before the going to, we have the be verb. Now for the progressive forms. Tenemos el base form, el going to be form, y el will be form. Y recuerden, if it has going to be or will be, it's automatically progressive because you have to do something else to the main verb. Vamos a empezar with just the base form of the future progressive. En este caso, we just add a be verb, and then we add ing to the main verb. So the base form would be what? The students
Is studying.
Okay, almost correct. En vez de
Are.
is, exacto, sería are. So the students are studying. Ahora sí. Now for the going to be form. The students
are going to be studying for the upcoming test.
Ahí está. We have are, which goes before going to be, and then after be, we have study, and it ends with ing. Recuerde que en progressive siempre termina con ing. Okay, so we have el base form que era are studying, the going to be form, which is are going to be studying, y finally el will be form.
Will be studying.
Ahí está. Exactly right. So, recapitulando esto.
Con ing, ¿verdad?
Exactamente.
Okay.
So, lo que está en progressive, todos terminan con ing, y lo que están en simple, se queda el verbo igualito como está. So, aquí sería will study, are going to study. En future progressive base sería are studying. El going to be sería are going to be studying. Y finalmente will be studying. Ahora vamos a darle unos ejercicios. Oh my God. Yo sabía que me faltó hacer algo. Anyways, ya que pasaron trabajo, pero ya lo están viendo anyway. Y como que ya está así en la... Así fue que lo subí a Canvas, so ya estoy chaval. Anyways, so vamos a hacer el aguaje aquí. All forms of the future tense. Number one, Coralis and Maribel arrive by dinner time. Ay, se me olvidó mencionar alguna cosita más. The way that you see the table here is the way that it's going to be on the test. Si se fijan in this other table here, you have these hints. This is just for the review. You're not going to have these during the exam. So tienen que recordar that this one is the will form, this one is the going to form, this is the base, this is the going to be, and this is the will be form. Okay? I mean, si me ponen el going to here y el will form here, it's fine que me lo cambien de orden as long as they're in where they need to be, as long as the simple is in the simple and the progressive is under the progressive. So anyways, Coralis and Maribel arrive by dinner time.
Will arrive.
Exactly right. Who can tell me the going to form?
Are going arrive. Or going.
We're still missing something.
Are going to.
Ahora. All right, good. Fantastic. Let's go for the progressive. This is the base form. So remember, it's just be verb and the main verb with ing.
Are arriving.
Are arriving. Okay, good. Number 5, this would, excuse me, number 4, this would be the going to be form.
Are going to be arriving.
Perfecto. And finally, the will be form.
Will be arriving.
Exactamente. Si se fijaron en algo, there are some things que se repiten.
Profesor, y entonces en el examen no hay que poner como tal la oración completa, simplemente con eso que nosotros pongamos con el verbo está bien.
Exactly right. Porque recuerden que lo que estoy pidiendo aquí es que en este blanco me estén llenando este blanco aquí.
Ok, perfecto. Ok, gracias.
Y pues no quiero que gasten tanto tiempo escribiendo la misma oración 5 veces, porque no son solamente 2 oraciones que tienen que hacer, son una cantidad mayor. So yes, for the sake of time, and since really this is the only thing I'm going to be looking at when I'm correcting anyways, this is faster for all of us. So, si se fijan, I put some things in bold and a couple of things are underlined, okay? Te explico esto ya mismito. Let's just do this next one really quick. We stay in London for the next 2 years.
Will stay.
The next one is the going to form.
Are staying.
Going to stay.
Ahora sí, are going to stay. Ahora, I don't know who that was. It was a girl's voice. Repeat that right now. You said
Are
are.
going to say.
No, habías dicho otra cosa. Because you said it in the progressive form.
Are staying.
There you go. And then we have number 4.
Are going to
Are
be
going to be staying.
Ay, Dios mío. Okay. And finally,
Will be staying.
Will be staying.
exactly right. So si se fijaron, wait, aquí. Hay unas cuantas cosas that I'm bolding, and there's a couple of things that I'm underlining. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. And finally, so basically what is underlined is the be verb. Y si se fijan, the be verb is going to be the same within each item. So si ya sabes que va a usar are en esta oración, you're going to keep on using are for the rest of it, okay? Entonces, el going to, everything that's in bold is stuff that you don't have to do anything to. It's stuff that you just automatically have to add, okay? Si se fijan entre la 3 y la 4, it's the same thing. We have are arriving. Lo único que de la 4, we just added going to be entre medio, okay? So esto es como una pareja. Let's say this is a married couple. Y entre medio el going to be son sus hijos, okay? and of course will be arriving, que es la misma cosa que está aquí. We just added be and then we conjugate it to ing. Okay, esto es lo que yo quiero ver en su examen. The will form, que es will y el verbo igualito. The going to form, which is be verb, going to, and the same verb. And then the progressive forms, which is be verb y el verbo con ing. The going to be form, que es la misma cosa, pero con going to be entre medio. And then finally, the will be form, which is will be with the ing verb. It's very simple. If you have any questions about these, you can ask me now. Pero con los 5 minutos que nos quedan, I want to discuss this. Okay, so I published this earlier today. This is basically instructions for how to complete the test. So the first test will be available on Friday during class time. So cuando empiece la hora de clase, that's when you're going to have access to the test. You're going to have 1 hour to complete the test. Okay. I might arrive 5 minutes earlier, en vez de las 7:30, perdón, a las 8:30, será 8:25, just to allow for, para que tengan 1 hora. Because if I arrive 5 minutes earlier, then you can have 5 minutes after class time supposedly ends. But if you still need some more time, you can join me in my office hours, and then you can complete the test then. Now, I will need you to download this program here, Adobe Acrobat Reader DC. Okay? Le voy a explicar por qué ya mismito. If you don't have a computer, if you only use a mobile device like a tablet or a phone, please let me know as soon as you can, so I can provide you an alternative. Okay? I'm going to show you how to use Adobe Acrobat Reader to fill in the blanks and complete the test. So this is not your test. This is an old test that I had for another class. Si usted se fija que dice English Basic Level 1, dice Inglés 3101. Joniel y Josué might have took this test when they took Basic 1 with me. So lo que estamos haciendo aquí, and let me just start de un cantazo desde el principio. ¿Qué lo hice? Give me 1 second. Why did I close it? Okay. Anyways, lo que quiero que vean is this. I'm assuming you guys can see my screen. Yes, you can. Okay. So we've opened the document, the PDF document in Adobe Acrobat. We're going to look for this option that says fill and sign. We're going to click it. And you have these 2 options. We're going to go for fill, sign, and send. Okay? Esto de request signatures lo ignoran, no tiene nada que ver con nosotros. So we click here and fill and sign. Now you're going to see that your cursor has this A, B. And when you hover over these lines, it basically allows you to click on them and to write.
So, esa es como tal la función para poder bajar entonces ese de esto que usted dice.
Exacto. Ya cuando tenemos el programa bajado, we have the option to complete the test. Esto es para que puedan llenar los blancos.
Ok, perfecto.
You have to click on it, porque si no cliquean, no sabe que usted quiere escribir ahí. Because I didn't click on it, and I started typing, and nothing happened. Remember, this is not your test. This is an old test for another class, okay? So basically, you can click, start writing, and then when you click somewhere else, this is saved automatically. And you can click on any of these lines, and it will become a blank for you to fill in. Okay. And basically, what I want you to do is complete the test in this way. When you're finished, I want you to go click File, Save As, and in el caso mío, I'm going to click here, choose a different folder so you can visualize it a little bit better. And then in el file name, I want you to write me your name and test 1. So, déjame buscar un nombre de la lista. Okay. So, si este fuera el examen de Luis, sería Luis Avellanet. Oh my God. Test 1. And then you save it. And then you go, well, in student view, you're going to see it. 1 second. And now that you have your test completed, lo tienes guardado, and remember to actually save it, because if you don't save it, you will have just wasted your time. Anyways, you click here on test number 1, and of course, submit assignment, choose file, and then you look for the file name. I saved it in another folder, so en este caso, I would have to look for it. It would be, was it here? I don't know where I saved it, but anyways, you can just add this file and then submit it, and then you're done.
Este video, ¿usted lo va a subir hoy a YouTube o algo? Es que como que me perdí un poco y sé que el día del examen uno va a estar tan nervioso y se le olvida todo eso.
Sí. De hecho, I'm gonna record this part aparte. So I'm gonna make a second video right after class ends, que es solamente cómo hacer esto. So yes, you're gonna have today's recording a little bit, at the same time as usual, but you're also gonna have this other recording that tells you how to complete this test. Okay? Yo sé que me pasé un poquito del tiempo. Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? Anything else you'd like to know?
En el video va a aparecer cómo instalar la app.
Sí, actually, okay. So if you click here in test number 1, they said you will need to download Adobe Acrobat Reader. You can click it, and it's going to take you to where you can download it, okay? So,
Y pregunta, es que yo nunca he conseguido, siempre que yo entro a Canvas, entro por el celular. Nunca he conseguido como que el link para entrar por la computadora. ¿Usted lo tiene o algo así que uno pueda entrar o ponerlo en la plataforma como tal de Canvas? Como que para cuando, o algo así que yo pueda entrar directamente en la computadora.
well, déjame ver cómo te puedo decir. The way for you to, well, vi el chat ahora, esto está explotado. Anyways, so to go to Canvas on your computer, you just go to www.canvas.instructure.com. You can click on that, and that's the link. Now that you can just log in with the same UPR account, your same password. I have an email here. Okay, so si hay alguien que no use su computadora, que no tenga computadora, pues yes, send me an email. Remember that my email is...
Profesor, a mí al principio eso me daba problemas. Yo intentaba entrar por Canvas directamente poniendo la cuenta y no me dejaba. Entonces lo que yo hacía es que yo entraba por el link de invitación y lo que hice fue que guardé el link en la computadora y de ahí entro.
Okay, well that's a really good advice.
Yo entro por el link de invitación, pero así normal de buscarlo, sí, no me deja.
Okay, es que pues tienen que estar pendientes de que sea canvas.instructure, porque hay otras páginas de Canvas que son canvas.something else, que no es instructor, y te tira a otra página completamente, and you'll never be able to log in. Mira, Canvas Prints, Canvas On Demand, Canvas Credit Union. Tiene que ser canvas.instructure. Okay. Okay, so Genesis y Nayeli, comuníquense. Recuerden que my office hours are in 5 minutes, so you can just join me at the link, which is here. Click office hours, and that's where I'm going to be desde ahora. I'm going to switch my account. Anyways, guys, yo sé que le quité bastante tiempo, so I will let it. Vamos a dejarlo hasta ahí.
Cristian, una pregunta. ¿Tú pasaste lista ya?
No he pasado lista física, pero lo tengo escrito aquí. I don't know if you guys can see it. I downloaded this app que me ayuda. So I'm going to do this now in my office hours.
Okay.
Así que para recapitular, el examen va a estar abierto a las 8:25 más o menos. Tenemos una hora para hacerlo y más o menos cuántos ejercicios son en total, para tener una idea.
Wait, espérate. Tengo... Son menos de 50.
Perfecto. Ok, perfecto.
Anyways, I'll let you go, guys. No quiero quitarle más tiempo, so I'll talk to you later, okay? Wait, ¿dónde yo estoy? All right, take it easy, guys. Michelle, it's okay if you arrived a little bit later. Como dije, pues la aplicación esta me ayuda para tomar asistencia. So, what is that? Anyways. Yes. Wait, ¿quién está ahí? Ok, está en el... Ok, dame un momentito, José, para terminar con la otra presentación.